in education, there's two things that live at the same time, right? There's this thing called what I'm supposed to teach, and then there's this thing called what they need to learn, right? And sometimes I think we get so caught up in what we're supposed to do that we miss what they need. And I try to be the teacher that goes with what they need. And so not only was this question asked multiple times during the break, but it's also the number one question/comment that I'm getting right now in small group coaching sessions like I'm doing tomorrow. It's what's interesting, and again, you could tell me if I'm wrong about this, because I seriously might be, but the number one issue that I'm hearing about right now from teachers, truthfully, is not behavior, it's motivation. It's the kids, okay, fine, like, they're coming, but they're coming and they're like, where'd my chair go? Oh, you guys are getting like this type of a thing occasionally, right? Where the kid kind of comes in and you get like one of these. What? You want me to pick my head up? Is that what you want? All right, dude, you're so annoying. Fine, I'll pick my head up.
But I'm not doing any work.
Right? I know. So motivation, right? I want to spend a few minutes on motivation. What is motivation? Like, let's talk about this for a second. Motivation is deciding on my own without being influenced that I want to do something, right? I am picking to do something. I'm motivated to do it. And what I always say to people when you're struggling with motivating hard to reach kids, ask yourself, what motivates you? Like, what motivates you in your life to do whatever you're doing? What motivated you to come here today? What motivated you to buy that new shirt? What motivated you to buy that new car? What motivated you to go to the gym, to buy that gym membership, right? There is one answer to that question for all of us. And here's the good news. It's the same answer for all of us. Our life gets better, right? People are motivated to do things in the world when they see the thing that they're about to do. At the end of that thing, my life will improve. I get that new gym membership. I start working out. I look better. I feel better. I buy that new shirt. Oh, it makes me look a certain way. Okay, I'm going to buy that new perfume. The speaker will fall in love with me very quickly, right? Like, okay, like all of, so what right, the bottom line is, what motivates us is my life gets better. Well, I have a question. If I'm 8 years old and I'm in your class, how does my life get better today? By learning your math. And if you can show me how my life improves today by learning your math, there's a really good chance I'm going to learn it. And if you don't show me how my life gets better, there's a really good chance I'm not going to do it. The number one mistake that we make when it comes to student motivation across the board as educators is when we plan our lessons, right? When we think about our lessons, when we plan our lessons, our thought process, the foundation of the lesson is focused on the content instead of being focused on the kid. What do I mean by this, right? The classic example, right, of lesson planning is, okay, I gotta teach fractions, right? These kids, fractions is what we're doing. That's what we're working on. How can I teach fractions? Let me develop this really good lesson for how to teach fractions, right? And you create a lesson to teach fractions and off we go. Problem is, if I don't see the connection of your lesson to my life, then right? It doesn't matter that you're doing fractions. I don't see the connection, right? And so, again, as long as I see, like, my life gets better today by doing X, Y, or Z, then there's a good chance I'm going to do it. Instead, start with the kid. What is the kid like? What is the kid interested? What does the kid care about? Think about your most unmotivated kid right now, the kid who just comes in, doesn't want to do anything. Here's the question I would ask you in a small group. I would say to you, okay, let me ask you this. If you knew the kid well enough, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? But if you do, if that kid could pick one thing to do after school, right? Forget whether it's right, wrong, good or bad, appropriate or not. We're not cops, we're not judges, we're teachers. So I'm not judging, I'm not policing, right? But if that kid could pick one thing to do after school, if he had 1 hour to pick whatever he wanted to do, what would it be, right? Okay, well that's one, right? By the way, I can answer my own question with 7 categories. I don't necessarily know exactly every kid. You didn't get out of my top 3. Sports, music, video games are my top 3. My next 3, money, animals, art. The 7th one, YouTube. And I'm telling you right now, I've never met a kid who doesn't like at least one of those categories, right? Typically, a kid loves one of those categories. Okay, well, which category does the kid love? Okay, I'm picking this just because I know my kids are obsessed. Let's pick YouTube, right? The kid loves YouTube, right? He comes in, puts his head down, doesn't do anything. But if he did have 1 free hour to do whatever he wanted, he would pick YouTube. Okay, then my question is, how do I connect the YouTube to the math? Instead of, stop talking about YouTube, enough talking about YouTube, no more talking about YouTube. Why? So we can do some math. My mentality is, talk about YouTube. Talk about YouTube. Talk all about YouTube. Why? So we can do some math. In fact, let's talk about YouTube real quick. I know y'all want to be YouTube stars, and I got to teach you math. And that's really cool that you want to be YouTube stars, and I'm excited for you to be a YouTube star. And by the way, it would be inappropriate and irresponsible of me to tell you not to want to be that. Mr. Beast, anyone know him? Yeah, everyone knows him, right? Anyone know how much he made last year on YouTube? 57 million. The entire teaching population in the city of Buffalo probably didn't make 57 million combined, right? 57 million that dude made on YouTube. By the way, real quick, I was just wondering, y'all want to be YouTube stars, right? Anyone know how it works? Anyone know how does it work? How do they decide how much money they're going to pay Mr. Beast? Anyone know? Oh, I do. Let's talk about it real quick. You know how when you post a video on social media, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little number on that video. Like it'll say like 20, or it'll say like 20K, or it might even say 20M. See, if it says 20, you know what that tells you? 20 people watch your video. Now, let me be clear. Most human beings in the world don't care about this because, listen, they're using social media because they live in Buffalo and their parents live in Florida for half the year, but the parents want to see their kid play basketball, and so I post clips of my kid playing basketball so my family other places can watch my kid play basketball, right? They don't care. They're not counting how many views they get, right? But the influencers, the ones with tons of followers, the ones that get paid, they care all about how many views they get. So if it says 20K, you know what that tells you? 20,000 people have watched the video. If it says 20M, you know what that tells you? 20 million people have watched the video. And the way it works for Mr. Beast, this is, by the way, how it used to work. I don't know if it's exactly this anymore, so I want to be clear about that. But I know that this is, and even if not, who cares, right? Your kids aren't going to know. How about this? Mr. Beast earns, ready for this, 1/4 cent for every view that he gets on a video. So when he posts a video, bottom right corner, all he cares about, truthfully, is how many views that video gets. Now, 1/4 cent, that doesn't sound like very much money, does it? I know, it doesn't sound like very much money. It doesn't. That said, I was curious. Who could tell me, real quick, how many views does Mr. Beast need to get in order to earn 1 full cent? If he earns 1/4 cent for one view, how many views for him to earn a full cent? This is the easy math, y'all. Very good, very good, very good. All right, here's what we're going to do next. Turn to your partner. Don't really do this, by the way. I guess I could really do this. I'm not going to. But turn to your, if I'm in class, turn to your partner. And with your partner and with a couple other people, I want you to tell me, how many views does Mr. Beast have to get in order to earn $5? And then how many to earn $7? And I mean, you keep talking about how much you love him, correct? Okay, but you also keep saying you don't like math. That's not okay. You can't not like math. You want to be like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast needs to understand math so he knows how much he gets paid. By the way, you keep saying you don't want to write and you don't like writing paragraphs. The problem is, if you click any one of these influencers on YouTube videos, there's this section called description. You know what that's for? People that are at work trying to watch YouTube, but they're not allowed. That's not really what it's for, but it's kind of what it's for, right? And so what they do is, instead of watching a video, they click the description and they read all about what it's about. If you look at almost every one of Mr. Beast, Jake Paul, all of them, the real famous YouTubers, they've got 3 to 4 paragraphs where they're writing all about what the video's about. I mean, you keep saying you want to be a YouTube star, do you or not? We're not doing a writing assignment today because it's on a test or a quiz or a homework assignment. We're doing a writing assignment because someday you're going to have 100 million subscribers to your channel. And when you do, you got to know how to write a paragraph. This isn't about me. This is about see what I'm doing? I'm taking my content and I'm bringing it into your world. See, y'all, the world has changed over the last whatever years, right? I told you I'm 48, so I'm old now, even though I don't feel it. But my generation is a generation where so much, and I guess you could say it's for every generation, but the change that has happened in my life, y'all, it has become, the world has changed, right? It has gone from you have to show up to get something to now it's a delivery world. Right? It is a world of if you have a product, which you do, it's called math, it's called science, it's called social studies, it's called reading, it's called writing, it's called Spanish. And you want me to buy your product, I'm the customer, right? You better drop that product at my doorstep. And if you don't drop that product at my doorstep, I don't want it anymore. By the way, you don't like this world? Blame Amazon. They started the whole thing, right? Amazon made it where, how about this? Never again do any of us ever in our lives have to step foot inside a Target or a Walmart. Now, I want to be clear with y'all. I go to Target because I like it, but I don't go because I have to go. In fact, a lot of times when I go, I'm like, why did I come here? It's dumb. Because with one swipe like this on my phone, the toothpaste ends up at my door. And not only does it end up at my door, it ends up there faster and cheaper. Right? This is the world that these disruptive, difficult, unmotivated kids have created, right? They have created a world of delivery. And I could give you 100 examples, right? When I was a kid, well, who's around my age in here? I told you I'm 48, right? So some people, when we were kids, if you wanted to order food to your house, you had one choice, pizza. That was it. You had no other options when we were kids. Pizza was the only one that was like, yo, how about we bring our food to the customer versus forcing the customer to come to our store. When I was 13, Chinese food figured it out. They were second. Pizza was first, Chinese food second. I got to Houston, Texas 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday night. I walked into my hotel room at 10:36 p.m. I looked at the clock. I was starving. One button on my phone. Uber Eats, 77 different restaurants willing to bring their food to my doorstep. See, when I was a kid, if you wanted to have a successful restaurant, you had to have a great location. Now you're stupid to have a great location if you want to have a great restaurant. Instead, what you do is don't even have a location. Be in some little podunk part of some plaza where no one could ever find you. And in fact, don't even have a restaurant. Have a little kitchen where you cook. You don't need bathrooms you gotta clean. You don't need insurance for all your employees. You don't need overhead. You don't need to deal with customers coming in and spilling stuff all over. And all the money you're gonna save from insurance and spills and employees, pay it to Uber Eats and Grubhub. 30%, they're gonna take it. Why? Because they're gonna bring your food all over town. And by the way, everyone who gets your food is gonna rate it and score it. And so there's gonna be a system that you can look at and say, this place has 400 five-star reviews. It has to be good. How could it not, right? They bring the food to me. I don't go out to eat anymore, right? These guys were all asking me, oh, you're in Buffalo for 2 nights. You gotta go here, you gotta go there. You know what I said to everyone? Do they deliver? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, then if they don't, they're out. But they're good. I don't care. Do they deliver? I don't care. Do they deliver or not? Because if you don't deliver, I don't want you. I don't want you because someone else will deliver. And this is the world. It has become a delivery world. TV, another example. I could go on and on. I could do the rest of our workshop on examples. I'll give you a couple more. TV, right? When I was a kid, you were a kid, we were kids, right? You want to watch a TV show? You better make an appointment, right? I mean, when I was a kid, Wonder Years was on Wednesday nights at 8:30. And if you missed it, you missed it. You missed it. Like, there was no tomorrow. There was no let me rewind and see what I missed. No, there was let me run upstairs and brush my teeth as fast as I can during the commercial and come back down so I don't miss anything, right? Doogie Howser was on at 9, by the way. 8:30 and 9. Great 2 TV shows, right? When we were kids. Yep. That was the world. Nowadays, y'all, Super Bowl Sunday last year. So Super Bowl Sunday, right, is I travel every Super Bowl Sunday. My family knows that I know it's just a thing because the day after the Super Bowl is one of the top professional development days in the country. There's 3 that I'm booked every year, and I usually have multiple requests. Election day is one. I had 16 requests for election day last year. Nobody wanted the Monday. They all wanted the Tuesday. 16 requests for election day. I had about 100 requests for the day after Halloween. That's a PD day almost pretty much everywhere. And then the day after the Super Bowl. Those are the three most prominent professional development days across the country. And so I am always busy every one of those days. Last year, not this Super Bowl. So this Super Bowl year, I got lucky. I worked in Florida the day after the Super Bowl and I got to drive. So I was home Super Bowl Sunday. But the year before, I wasn't. I started the game at 5 p.m. on my flat screen TV in my living room. At 5:30, the Uber showed up to my house. Seamlessly, the game went from my TV to my phone. I did not miss one thing. Notice it's coming to me now. I don't go to it, it comes to me. All the way to the airport. I live a half hour north of the airport in Tampa. All the way to the airport in my Uber, I watch the game. Okay, you gotta go through security, you gotta put your phone down, don't worry. There's a TV at the bar, I can watch all while I'm going through. Okay, you gotta board the flight. Oh, you can't, okay, I can watch all the way on. Wait, you gotta put your phone away. No worries, there's a TV right in front of me. I went from a half hour north of the airport in Tampa to a half hour south of the airport in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Did not miss 1 second of that game. Not 1 second, why? Because the game comes to me. I used to have to go to it. How about this one? Addiction recovery meetings. See, when I started going to addiction recovery meetings 23 years ago, I had to go to the meeting. Kenmore Presbyterian Church on Delaware Avenue in Buffalo, New York. I went there for a solid 5 years, every single week. And then, about 4 years ago, this thing called COVID hit. Remember that? And they closed all the churches and all the synagogues down where all of us addicts used to congregate. And that was devastating for us. It was awful, it was brutal. And so I started an online meeting. I'm like, there's this new thing called Zoom. Why don't I try that? I've never been back to a meeting in person since. Almost 5 years later, why? I was on a meeting last night, a recovery meeting, at the Atlanta airport on my phone like this with my headphones as I was boarding my flight. I used to have to go to Kenmore Presbyterian Church to go to a meeting. Now the meeting comes to me. Wherever I am, the meeting is there. Why? Because I got my phone and I could just push one button and boom, there I am with all the other people. Want one more example? Fine. Working out. This is funny. I used to go to the gym. I remember those days. And I would pay a lot of money for my gym membership and I would get personal training. And then COVID hit. And I was terrified because I'm a worker outer. It's my stress relief. It is the number one stress relief in my life. When I am overwhelmingly stressed, I will do as many push-ups as I can until I can't do anymore and I'm no longer stressed. It's the weirdest thing how that works. But it used to be you'd had to go to the gym. Then COVID hit, they closed the gyms. All of a sudden these new people started popping up online doing workouts. I got one in YouTube. Her name's Caroline Gervin. I was just showing my friend Heidi over here, this woman, Caroline Gervin. I am obsessed with her. She's got 3.6 million subscribers on her channel, 37 minutes. That's how long her workout is. You could do an entire leg workout in this space right here. You need no space, hardly any equipment. The gym comes to me. Now, I don't go to the gym. The gym comes to me. See the world that we are living in? This is the world. All of these, right? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. These companies are worth billions of dollars with a B. Not millions of dollars, billions of dollars. How is that possible? Somebody explain this to me because it doesn't make sense on the surface, right? Be honest, guys. How many of y'all go on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok at least once a day? Any of the three? Okay, me too, right? How many of you ever pay to go on those three? Me either, right? I've never paid to go on any of them, right? So wait, let me understand this. How is Facebook and Instagram and TikTok worth billions of dollars when they're free to use? Like, it makes sense to me that Delta Airlines is worth billions of dollars. Every time I go on Delta Airlines, I pay. Every time I use these guys, I never pay. And they're still with billions? How'd they figure that out? Oh, I know. They changed the game of advertising. See, it used to be back in the day if you own, what's your name?
Katie.
Katie and Heidi's, I'm making this up right off the fly, fishing and tackle shop on Lake Erie in Buffalo, New York, right? If you own that store and you want people to know about your business, when I was a kid, you had 3 places to advertise your business, actually 4. You could go on the radio, you could go in the newspaper, you could go on the local news, or you could go in the phone book, right? Those were the choices to advertise your business, right? By the way, all 4 of those places, you're gonna reach a whole bunch of people that aren't interested in fishing and tackle. But you gotta go there anyway because it's the only place, right? Then all of a sudden, Facebook comes along. And they're like, yo, Heidi, yo, Katie, come over here, you guys. Come over here. Come to us. Why should we come to you? Because we can show you all the people who live within 3 miles of Lake Ontario. We could also show you in a couple more clicks all the people who have searched for fishing and tackle gear over the last 3 months. We can show you all the people who have checked in on a lake with their friends. And what we'll do is we'll only advertise to them. So you don't have to pay for all these people that are never going to buy your product. And so what have they done, right? Look, the reality about Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, nobody goes on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok to buy stuff. Who goes there to go shopping? Nobody. We go there to be nosy, right? We go there to be nosy. We go there to see what's everybody doing, right? Yet what happens as you're scrolling, right? First one, second one, third one. This is how it used to be. It's even more the other way now, but it used to be first one, second one, third one are people you've actually chosen to follow. The 4th one, though, was called what? Sponsored post. You know what a sponsored post is, right? Katie and Heidi's Fishing and Tackle Shop that are like, yo, we're going to give money. But Facebook, they know who likes fishing and tackle. So they're going to put your ad only in your feed, and your feed. But your feed's going to look different. They have figured out a way to drop their product into our lap, right? Used to be you had to go shopping. You had to walk into a store. No longer. Now you just go on Facebook and there's that. I'm telling you right now, y'all, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok knew that we were pregnant with our 3rd kid before we knew. They did, because like my feed, all of a sudden it was baby stuff. My feed is all baby stuff and golf stuff. I'm an avid golfer and I got it for, it's not even baby anymore, it's toddler stuff, right? And like, that's what it is. They know that we have a toddler. Well, guess what? If you don't have a toddler, your feed looks different than mine, right? Everybody's is custom. And look, you might not buy that product right then, no question, right? But you click on it, right? Because you're interested in it. If we buy this new car seat, our kid's gonna be safer. They're gonna be, right? If I drive the car and I get in an accident, my kid's, okay, cool, let me buy the new car. Well, wait, that's $399, okay. Well, I clicked. They know how long you clicked. They know how long you watched. They know, and next thing you're like, okay, wait. What am I doing? I'm not buying anything. Next thing you know, 2 hours later, you go check your email. There's the car seat in the corner, right? You go to do your banking. There's the car. How the hell did the car seat find me over here, right? But it found me, right? Everywhere I go, that car seat just keeps popping up until either you're like, get out of here, and you exit away, or you're like, shit, let me just buy that thing already so that just stops hounding me, right? One of the two. Point is this, it has become a delivery world. And what happens in school still is we're the old school way. We're still planning our lesson the old school way. Here I am, I'm in my classroom over here, I'm planning my lesson, right? And la-di-da, we expect the kids are just gonna walk into our world and learn our lesson. Except the problem is, that's not the world they're growing up in. They're not coming. There's a reason buffets are going out of business in this country. You can't deliver them. You can't deliver them. And if you have a business that can't be delivered in this society, you are now in trouble. You're in trouble because that's what everybody wants these days. Instacart, right? Bring me the groceries. Bring them to my door. Leave them on my door. Don't even make me talk to anybody anymore, right? This is the world that it has become. And so what do we do instead? Instead of starting, when it comes back to motivation, instead of starting with the content, start with the kid. What is the kid like? What does the kid care about? Okay, the kid loves music. The kid loves sports. The kid loves YouTube. How do I connect math to YouTube? How do I connect reading to YouTube? How do I connect science to YouTube? That's my job right now. How do I get this kid to love math as much as he loves YouTube? Okay, where's the math inside YouTube? There's got to be math inside you. We just did some with Jake Paul and Mr. Beast, right? The reading and the writing is there. I mean, again, is your mentality enough talking about YouTube so we can do some math? Or is your mentality talk about YouTube so we can do some math? Mariah Elizabeth, she's another super famous one that my children love. My 13, 11-year-old are obsessed. She is cool. And my kids are obsessed with her, obsessed. They come home from school. She does a new video every Friday, once a week at 4 p.m. My kids come home from school, refresh her page until finally, right? There's the new video. Okay, cool. Watch it. Go there. Dive into that world, right? Utilize what would happen hypothetically if you had a kid who loved YouTube but they hated math, and instead of starting with math, you started with the video of somebody they loved. Guaranteed they'd pay attention. Instead of head down, their head would be up. Okay, now you got them. You got them. Cool. Hit pause on the video every once in a while and be like, by the way, real quick, let's talk about math. Let's talk about reading. Let's talk about writing.